Now, first, let's say thank you to the Plant-Based Network, who's not only our partner, but is our presenting sponsor this week of our live talks. So you can check them out at plantbasednetwork.com. And of course, you can watch the Plant-Based Network on Apple TV, Roku, Fire Stick. You can also now download the app on Android and Apple. So you can watch from your phone, which is pretty cool. Now, we have a couple of contests going on, or raffles, or whatever you want to call it. First, we have the Pass the Buck campaign, where you can donate $1 to Piedmont Farm Animal Refuge through Triangle Vegfest. And for every $1 that you donate, we will enter you into a contest to win a Hodo Foods prize pack. We are also looking at adding additional prizes to that from the refuge and from Triangle Vegfest. So you can donate $1 or more, which is greatly appreciated. And all that money will go towards the refuge, which is in Pittsburgh, North Carolina, and they have over 100 saved farm animals that really appreciate your funds. And then if you like Virtual Veg Fest on Instagram or Facebook, you'll be entered into win a prize back from either Follow Your Heart, Sun Warrior, or Crofters Organic. So go like our pages, and at the end of the month, you'll be entered to win a prize. Now, let's talk about Jason, which is pretty cool. So is this like the real sweet spot, like web developer, vegan? Well, plant-based, actually. He eats a really, really healthy diet, as I know. Jason is someone I've met years ago, and he started VegEvents.com. Us organizers there's a lot of events going on all over the world, and Demetrius was keeping a big Google spreadsheet of every event. And then Demetrius said, oh, Jason's keeping VegEvents.com. I'm going to stop this sheet. And now all of us organizers can put those events onto VegEvents.com, and you can go and see where and how whatever events are in your local community. And this is anything from like a potluck to a full-fledged Veg Fest. And that's how I met Jason. And then we hung out at the Washington, D.C., at the D.C. Veg Fest, and we walked around and we did a whole bunch of stuff. And let's see. Cat saying run. Yes, run. So yes, if you want to comment and say hi to us or interact with us, please do. Oh, there are the dogs. That's perfect. So at least it's now at the beginning. If you want to comment or ask any questions, please do. We'll get to everything. We can see them as we talk. We'll say hi to you. So hi, Kat. She's new with the Plant-Based Network, so welcome. And Jason, I'm going to throw this at you because you've got a lot of sites that you've been creating: veg movies, veg meal delivery, veg groups, veg events, veg resources. And we'll put those all up on the screen later. But tell us more about you and how this all came up.
Yeah, so about 5 years ago, I went vegan. And a couple years before that, I had watched a vegan documentary, Vegucated, and started kind of transitioning. And before that, I'd been into computers, building websites, into technology, spending all my time on the computer. And then as I enjoyed going outside and learning more and eating healthier and finding, vegetarianism and then veganism, I really started having different ideas for websites that could help people. And it started with VegEvents, where I started, I knew when I went vegan, I had to find other vegans out there. I needed to find some support. I needed to find potlucks and all that. So I started searching on meetup.com and finding all the events that were out there, Vegfest. And then I would run into people that didn't know that there was a potluck around the corner from them, or didn't know that there was so many events near them that they could just, drive easily to. So that's how the idea to kind of create a site that would have all those events. So you didn't have to go to Meetup. You don't have to go to Facebook. You don't have to, be following all these different places. You can go to one website, search by your location, find events that were near you. Also online events, which, in the current situation, there's a lot more virtual events, and really try to focus on that and help people find that. And it also has a weekly email newsletter that people can sign up for, where literally every week I will send you a list of events coming up in the next 2 weeks near you or online. So, the Faces Summit that just started a couple days ago, all these different Veg Fests that are going virtual that, maybe you were in Boston, but maybe you weren't in Boston, and now the Boston Veg Fest is going virtual. So how would you know about that? You could be signed up with the newsletter, be checking out Veg Events, and as things get updated, that automatically gets updated. And so people started using that. And I had other ideas. I had Veg Meal Delivery I started working on, end of last year. And actually, I had all these ideas, but I was still having a day job. I was still, building stuff for other people that I wasn't really motivated for. It wasn't helping animals. It wasn't really helping people. It was, kind of just automating stuff that maybe was done with paper and now you could use a computer for. And I just wasn't feeling as connected. And I had all these ideas for websites that didn't exist. Things that, I'd already built VegEvents, but I had these other ones that I thought if I could just build it, people could, enjoy it. It'd fill a niche that's not, being served. So toward the end of last year, I left my day job and just focused on, okay, I have some savings, I have a little bit of run. I know, I'm just going to work on this. And, regardless of what happens, I'm learning new skills. I'm building, things I haven't built before. I'm growing with that. And I just kind of just took that and I started with Veg Meal Delivery, which launched a couple months ago. And that's a directory of meal delivery services around the world that offer batches of vegan meals. Because I found that if I search for like vegan meal delivery, you'd find some articles online of like top 5 or top 10. Some of them weren't even in business anymore. Some of them weren't even vegan or vegetarian anymore, didn't have those options. And it was only listed because people were getting paid from it. They were getting referral fees, affiliate stuff. So I wanted to build something that every business could be on, regardless of whether they have affiliate programs or any of that kind of stuff. And to really help people then kind of sort through, oh, this one ships with dry ice. This one ships in, eco-friendly containers. This one has free shipping. This has a coupon. This has whole food, plant-based meals. This has no oil meals, So really I created something that people could just search and kind of filter through. And that's all all my work is kind of around helping people find resources that are out there that are in so many different places and making it even easier to just get started. Like with VegEvents, like the vision I have is I want someone to say, oh, decide to go to a vegan event or decide to go vegan. And I want them in their car before they could even change their mind. Like I want it to be so easy to find an event. I want it to be so easy to find meal delivery. Now I want to make it so easy to find a movie. So someone says, oh, I want to watch a vegan documentary. So now I've got vegmovies.com with over 232, movies listed, from documentaries to fiction stuff, vegan characters, vegan message, and people can search and sort through it. They can say, I want to see something that doesn't have any, suffering, animal suffering. So there's warnings on there. It has the trailers. It links to where they can watch it. If it's on Netflix, if it's on Amazon Prime, like there hasn't been one place. Like there are a couple places that have lists of movies and some that even have large lists. But to make it easy to search through it, to constantly be adding to it, like I'm adding a couple a week actually, movies that are coming up, movies that need support, like the movie from John Lewis, They're Trying to Kill Us, that is on Indiegogo and has like 36 hours or so left, trying to make it so that people know about those things and can help fund those new projects that have other, messages. And then also using our Facebook and Twitter account to then keep letting people know about those changes as they come up. So that's, just I keep thinking of different ideas and I kind of have a list of them and then I kind of build them. And then I realize after I launch them, then I have to keep maintaining them. So, there is a finite amount of time that one person has.
That is true. You've definitely taken on a lot of databases to maintain. And then, as we were saying before we went live, people questioning the changes that happen, like Forks Over Knives not being on Netflix, and then saying, well, why isn't it there? It's not there anymore because these movies filter in and out of these different platforms. And you have no control over that. But the fact that you knew that was coming because they let everyone know like a month in advance, it's coming off Netflix. Watch it, watch it, watch it. I did watch it again. And then, you immediately had it off the site and then you got questioned. Where is it? Well, how do you watch Forks Over Knives now? Do you know?
So you can go to vegmovies.com, search for Forks Over Knives, and it will tell you all the places you can watch it. And that's a great thing. I don't have to remember it. Like people, I think my goal is for it to be a great resource even for vegan activists, or helping someone else go vegan, because some of the movies websites over time, they get shut down. Like, they don't have a website anymore where they used to. Let's say other movies, or it was on Amazon Prime, now it's not. It was on Amazon, now you can't get it. So there's links to eBay where you can search for the DVD because they're not making it anymore. To really try to create a constantly updated place so that people could just say, oh, go to Veg Movies, search for Forks Over Knives. Or they could go to Veg Movies, copy the link, and just give it to someone and say, here, it'll tell you exactly where. Or you could search for something, on Netflix talks about cancer, or talks about diabetes, or talks about animals and animal welfare, or, animal rights, and really kind of filter through it. So then I just happen to come across information, and then I can update it, or people let me know. If a filmmaker lets me know, was just listing a new documentary recently, and the filmmaker told me, oh, our poster changed. So I was able to get the updated one, where even like Amazon, IMDb didn't have the updated one yet. And
that's really cool. Yeah. That's really cool to be on the inside stream of what's happening, especially with the newer movies. And they probably really appreciate that you're doing this, because so many people ask, like, what movie should I watch? Right? I have my go-tos. Forks Over Knives is actually my go-to movie because it's health-based. It has no gore in it. No animals are harmed in the movie outside of the food that's eaten. But it's a movie that if you can get through it and get to the end, I don't see how you can still eat dairy ever again, because it's science-based and you can't dispute that. And Dr. Campbell is, he's a piece of my heart. So that's one of my go-tos. But in recent years, Game Changers, Cowspiracy, Plant Pure Nation, these are great movies that some people may or may not know about. But like you said, you can search the site, and it makes it so much easier for people who don't even know like what they want to know, right? I have diabetes. Let me check and see if there's a movie that, because my doctor said this plant-based thing, this whole food plant-based thing might be good to get rid of my type 2 diabetes. So, and then this vegan person said there's this vegmovies.com I can go to, and then you put those two seeds together and they can come up with finding movies that you can definitely watch. Let me see. Kat missed one of the movies. I said Game Changers, Plant Pure Nation, Forks Over Knives, Cowspiracy. And another one will be Vegucated, because Marissa from Vegucated is going to come on as well in October, I think. Films addressing plant-based lifestyle and cancer. So, Kat, you can totally go to vegmovies.com and you can do a search for movies just like that, plant-based lifestyle. It's all plant-based. So you can find movies that relate to cancer, diabetes, animal rights, the whole gamut, which is pretty awesome. And then the VegEvents, which directly impacts me and all the other organizers. Let me see. Forks Over Knives, Vegucated, Cowspiracy equal other films. Not sure what that means. So I need a little bit more detail. So VegEvents.com directly impacts me with all the events that we do. I don't even go into the smaller ones typically. And I thank you, because you kind of take care of that for me more than I do it. So I really, really appreciate that, because I'm a terrible admin. I can create events and produce them and manage them, but don't ask me to be an admin. I'm the worst in the world. So thank you for doing that. And like I said, on top of everything that's going on, and for sending me emails to say what's going on with your site, with whatever you're doing, because sometimes I don't even know yet what's going on with what I'm doing. Like, I have something going on the 15th and 16th of August, but I'm not sure until later what that is. So let's see, just capturing in the comments the films you're mentioning. Sorry if it's distracting. No, Kat, really appreciate that. No, that's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. Thank you. So we really appreciate it. And then let's see. So go ahead, Jason.
Well, to your point about, the events, it is work. Like, I spent an hour today going through all the festivals that were on VegEvents to see, are they still running? and you have to go to their website, you have to go to their Facebook event page. But their Facebook event page, I find, will often still show like it's happening. And maybe that's because they don't want to cancel it. They want to just change the date, but they don't have the new date. So their website might say it's postponed. So there were definitely 2 event organizers that I emailed and was like, hey, is your event still happening? One gave me the new date, so I was then able to update it. And so I can mark, and I'm marking events as canceled, postponed. So if someone goes to the VegEvents listing and now it's been canceled, it'll say it's been canceled, because I don't want people to go to an event that's not happening and be at risk in all this stuff. Like that is, it's just, trying to make sure, okay, wanting everybody to be safe and not, in an undue risk.
No, that's true, because it would suck to go to, I had that happen. One of my vendors actually posted the wrong date for an event in December, and people showed up for that date of the event because that's the event on Facebook they were following, which led to a new rule of you can't do your own events on Facebook for our events. Just add hours to your page. Much easier, very easy to do. And then there's no issue with something happening with the event or there not being the correct information. I felt so bad. 3 people messaged me to say, it's not today. And I was like, no, it's tomorrow. I'm so sorry that you drove all the way to Durham from wherever you were for an event that isn't happening today. So try to avoid stuff like that, and you're doing a great job of making sure that those little details, especially now with everything kind of going online. And I mean, I want to have in-person events, but it's funny, no vegan fry fest. Yeah, no, you hope not, but you'd be surprised that there are some organizers that are similar to the fry fest thing, but that's kind of in our organizer world as opposed to the public world. It does happen. I guess it's people. So let's go into Veg Meal Delivery, because it's international, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of services from the US, Australia, New Zealand, Philippines, a couple different, other countries, even one in Germany that they actually do delivery, that's started up recently and to people's homes, and they have like a couple different meals. And so it's like all different types of services, a little bit different than not necessarily restaurants, though restaurants haven't been submitting themselves, but I've kind of let it be known, like, hey, if you want to I'll put them on there too. Anyone doing delivery. The idea was, someone who wants to go vegan, it may be easier, or especially they just want to be, try it a little bit. If they could get, 5-10 meals a week, or just a couple a week, and then they replace some of their meals and it's pre-made. Some of the services will send you the ingredients and recipes and you make it yourself. It's like pre-portioned. There are a couple services that will deliver boxes of produce, like Misfit Market, and then Imperfect Produce, which is a little bit more like a grocery store. You're kind of picking a lot more kind of items, and then letting people search through those depending on what they're looking for. And really, it came about right around the time of all this whole stuff happened. That's when I had it ready and launched it. But I think also people, difficult times, maybe not everyone's buying from these. A lot of them also in the beginning had a high demand, so they were kind of trying to keep up and having to hire new people. But really wanted to create a place where these kinds of places that are out there, that people can get a couple meals. Some are raw, like all different types of meals, different menus they get to pick. Some they don't pick the menu. That they could see that those even exist, and if that's something they're interested in, that they could easily search and find the one that's right for them. Talked with PCRM, they were really interested in it, kind of shared it with all the folks in there, and then they suggested, hey, you should have a low-fat option, because that, health-wise, people are, so, really taking any feedback and making it better, and trying to make sure that people could search for anything that they're really interested in.
That's really cool that PCRM is involved. If you don't know who PCRM is, it's the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, PCRM.org. Tons and tons and tons of resources. And not surprised they went low fat, because they're a fan of the limited oil, limited salt, limited sugar. for a whole food plant-based diet. So not surprised that they gave you that suggestion, which is ultra cool. I personally get Misfits Market and I like it. I like it a lot. And they're heading towards a model where you can pick what's in the box. I'm looking forward to that because we do have some waste because there are things that come that, like we got fennel. It just don't eat fennel. So I have two of them. And I was like, so I'm trying to figure out neighbor doesn't want fennel. Housemate took the fennel. Hopefully he'll eat it. I don't know. But that's some of the things that you don't necessarily know if you're going to eat everything that's in the box, but it's a nice surprise when you open it up to find out what's in there. And what lots of salads and fruits. I like it because there's a lot of fruit and vegetable mixtures in there. And for people for COVID, as Kat's kind of pointing out, that being home and cooking is something that we've done more of than I've ever done. Oh, there goes the dogs. Awesome. Go ahead, Jason. You can talk. I'm gonna let them bark.
Well, yeah, and so with Misfit Markets, I've actually been getting that too for the last couple of months, and I was able to start customizing once I went to the smaller box. When I was on the larger box, they didn't have that in the area, but it's a great option for just getting produce, and not everybody does get that, or they don't want to go out as much, and really so people that are interested, and they can search on Veg Meal Delivery and say, oh, I want a service that gives me just produce, like a box of it. And it lists there the different prices and options that they have, kind of a price range, so people can filter and search by that. But then also with people really staying home and maybe not ordering out as much, maybe not going out as much, some of these services have delicious meals, like so many different types, and all of them are different. And so some of these other places you can get, these delicious meals, or even like Mama Says is just these like healthy salt, oil, sugar-free meals delivered right to your house, frozen. You just heat them up. So I've made it, people can find it through Veg Meal Delivery, get links. A lot of these services even have discounts and coupons. And so, list them right there, and you can copy that and go and find it. And anyone's been listed that wants to be on there. There's a lot of services that I listed that I had to hunt them down. It's more that the whole, people are good at running events, but maybe not, sharing all the information as things change. Meal delivery services, great at making meals and delivering them and promoting it. But if you try to be like, hey, could you send me information? Could you answer these questions? Not always the greatest. So I learned to, I hunt people down, which has been great for veg movies, where I'm like, hunting filmmakers down and, asking questions that are, not answered, and getting answers sometimes.
That's really cool. Kat has a question. Any ideas on finding grants, nonprofit or for-profit, government or private foundations available to support plant-based education?
So there are a lot of grant for plant-based projects. If you go to VegEvents.com, there's a organizers resource page, and it actually has some grant programs listed there. She's about a month or two early, because I'm working on something now that will have a list of all the grant programs for vegan projects and how you find vegan investors. And that's the evolution of vegresources.com, which right now I don't think the current site has that information on there. But I'm in the middle of redeveloping that as more of a question answer kind of thing, where you could search of how do I find vegan grants? And then it would kind of have a guide that would list all the programs that are out there. But vegevents.com, and there's a page for organizers resources, and that lists a bunch of grant programs on there.
That's fantastic. The Veg Resources, as I wasn't even thinking that it would go there. Yeah, Kat, you and I, both great idea. So that's going to be incredible. That's going to be incredible for a plant-based network, who is a growing entity, as you know, because you're involved with it too. And it, needing the resources and funding so that we can keep being involved with it, keep growing it, right? And of course, for yourself too, we were just talking about you becoming a nonprofit. That'll open up those avenues for everything that you're doing, which would be pretty remarkable as well.
If I go that route, yeah.
If you go that route, That's cool. Kat said she'll be looking for that upcoming info on grants and investors. Yep, me too. Definitely me too. And going back to the veg meal delivery for my dogs really interrupted because, they can't be quiet. Sometimes I could go 40 minutes and sometimes I cannot. So people are cooking more or people need to cook more because you can't really go out. And sadly for the restaurants, yes, there are people who can help the restaurants stay and support them, but it is much healthier to cook at home. And having the option to have meals delivered to you either pre-cooked or that you put together and cook. And like you said, it doesn't have to be every single day. Every plant-based meal that you eat helps the environment, the animals, and your health. And the more you eat like that, probably more likely you're going to want to, because you feel better eating like that. And then when you go and you eat like a fat laden meal that's with animal products in it, you suddenly feel like this. I don't know what it feels like anymore because I haven't done it in a really long time. But I know what it feels like to go and eat even a high fat plant-based meal, fried foods, the whole gamut, ice cream, milkshake. Like you can eat really crappy on a plant-based diet too, or a vegan diet, I should say. So it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good at all. So it reinforces that maybe if you don't cook, that you can go and find a veg meal delivery that will fit your lifestyle, your pocketbook, and will inevitably increase and improve your health because they portion their meals out, right? Oops, I think Jason might be frozen. Yep, tech issues. So
you're cutting in and out now. I can hear you.
Okay, you can hear me. You're frozen.
I'm not really frozen. I just didn't want to. Yeah.
On my end, I'm just gonna stay. I'm gonna stand like a statue. That's awesome.
When there's difficulties, it's just like I'm gonna be the calm one. I'm just gonna, if you disappear, then it'll be my show, and I'll just continue. And that's fine with me.
That's fine. I told you if any tech issues happen, just keep going. We'll just keep going. I was ready to do a PSA. So Kat's been writing like a lot of stuff while we've been talking. Let's see. She also has a nonprofit called Water Citizen Foundation, which also works on the link between water sustainability and plant-based lifestyles. Lots of water professionals and activist enthusiasts keep plant-based on the basis of sustainability. And let's see. Oh, in North Carolina, it's easy to eat everything deep fried. That's no joke. And there's some great restaurants in the Triangle that have fried foods that are delicious. But once again, they're fried foods, which one thing about this pandemic that has made like a huge change for me is I've gone more the whole foods plant-based way of eating because of this pandemic. I mean, I'm cooking 3 meals a day and I'm eating more fruits and vegetables because I just said, well, if we're going to like have this situation where we can't really go anywhere, then I'm going to do the most positive thing I can for me and my health to go forward with this. And that obviously will carry forward after it. So it's been, for me, this has been great, but I'm introverted. So I'm not really missing like as much as I do these events and I'm around thousands of people over the course of a weekend, I miss that. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm good. And I think you're kind of introverted too, right?
I mean, I definitely do miss going out to the potlucks and, restaurant buffet events with other people that I went to. But I also recognize that times have kind of changed and, it'd be nice if things get back to that. But right now that's not necessarily happening. And so I've really kind of focused, like I built veg movies in 2 months after building Veg Meal Delivery in 6 months. So I kind of focused all my anxiety and, and worries and just focused in building that new site. And whether that was healthy or not, who knows? But I built something cool, and people enjoy it. And now I can do the personal work and the
Right.
the self-care kind of thing.
Well, you took really, I mean, you were taking really good care of yourself prior to this, because when we were in New Jersey, I mean, you brought your own kale salad. So, I mean, I knew right there. I was like, okay, you take what you put into your body very seriously because you're at a Vegfest, but you brought kale.
Yeah,
So, and I go ahead.
I didn't even eat the free piece of baklava from the baklava lady. Like that was killing me, but like I was like, I'm trying to eat healthy, and yeah,
Right. Yeah. I mean, you have to choose what you want your treat to be, like your cheat treat, or even you don't want to call it a cheat because you can eat whatever you want, but you kind of make the choice of, well, what is that thing that I want to eat that may not necessarily make me feel the best, or will be great going in and then be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have eaten that. Where's my kale? Where's my Misfits market box
yeah.
with my mangoes in it? Yeah, mangoes are killer good this season. Let's see. Bring your own kale. Oh, that's really cute. Bring your own kale. Kat, you're
I
making
like
this a lot of
that.
fun. Yes. Thank you. We can totally turn that into something. I should put that on a shirt. So we might do that, Kat. I'll give you
That
credit.
I'm disappointed I
So
didn't think of it.
I know that's true. Well, it's public now. So, Jason, this is really neat. I really appreciate your taking the time to share more about everything you've created and what value that is to the vegan and plant-based community. And it's international because Plant-Based Network, as you know, is international. And everyone around the world can benefit from every site that you've created. Just because you're in the United States doesn't mean it's just United States centric. It is actually worldwide, from events to Veg Meal Delivery, and of course the movies are everywhere. Do you have movies that are in foreign languages
There's I
listed?
think maybe one or two on there, and one's going to be coming out. It's already out, but it's going to be listed next week. That's a German film, I believe. And so
Oh, neat.
that's, in the future, I'd love to make it a little bit more friendly. Right now, at least, it knows what country people are coming from. So it can show them different links, whether they're in the US, UK, Canada, and Australia. And outside of that, then it'll give them a global link. And so in most cases, if we don't have the actual link for their country, it'll send them to the website of the filmmaker so then they could find the information there. But definitely, people are coming from all different countries. I think there was like a lot of visitors coming from Brazil even. So hopefully they can read it. And, I know English is pretty well known. Not, everyone's going to, or it's not going to be required everywhere. But um, definitely, focusing on those. But it's open to anyone. And the information, even if they can't, you know, let's say it's not for their country, but they could at least find it on there. And there are a lot of films that are um, outside of the U.S. in other languages. I'd love to get them on the site also, for sure.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I mean, look, I'm just giving you more work to do. So, how fun is that? So let's show some of these websites that you can go check out. Let me see. There it goes. It's scrolling. Slow scroll, which is neat. Those are the websites that Jason has.
For now,
And for now, right, there'll be more. So let me see. Seriously glad there's programs like Triangle Veg Fest and the sites from Jason that is open to everyone. Thank you, Kat. No, really, thank you so much for that, because it's a rough year for every organizer, that's for sure. And you know, the hope is that I don't know what the hope is. The hope is that people will wear a mask and social distance so we can get control of this virus so that we can all like go back to somewhat normal, because it's never, I don't think it's going to be normal again as the way we knew things were. So everyone has to just like pull up their pants and and adjust and pivot to whatever we end up to wherever we end up, because I don't know what that looks like and no one knows what that looks like. So, but Jason, if people want to support what you're doing and they want to reach you, contact you outside of the website, so I can actually show just so people can see. So the veggroups.com, we have that on the screen right now. If you go to veggroups.com, you can actually see all the sites that he has, and you can click on them and you can go and check them out, which is cool. Tess, hey Tess, welcome to the stream. Normal has a new definition now. No joke. And as for Tess, she works at a Duke hospital as a nurse, and she's in this every single day. So thank you so much for what you're doing, because you put your life on the line every day that you go to work, and your personal protective equipment and your N95 mask and your screen and your gloves. She's shown pictures. I would love to get her on here, but it's difficult for medical workers to come on and talk about their jobs and still have their job later. So, but thank you so much for what you're doing, because that's important. And then let's see. Okay, I think it's a same thing typed twice. Okay, not have to worry about that. So Jason, tell people how to find you and how to support what you're doing, because we don't want to see it go away.
If anyone wants to support the work that I'm doing, they can go to veggroups.com, and there's contact information. There's a donate link for a non-tax deductible link until I decide to become a nonprofit, if I do. And they'll always see the projects that are going on. Veg Resources, VegEvents. And I really see Veg Resources being the kind of a glue for information out there, but it's just not, really rebuilt yet. So that'll be within the next month or two. That should hopefully come out and really also tie in with the other work that I've been building.
Right. And you're also, if anyone wants to volunteer their time to help you on the web developer side, the research side, the database side, I know you're open to that too. So they can easily get in touch with you through any of the websites, right? Frozen. There he is. He's back. Pretty sure you can hear me, but can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Okay.
Now I can hear you.
Did you hear anything I said?
Not the last bit.
I said I said that there are people, if anyone wants to volunteer their time to help you with the databases, web development, or anything like that, that you're open to that, and they can reach you through the websites, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, every website I have has a contact information, and it goes the same place. So, definitely if there's something that someone really feels passionate about, they'd like to help with some of the back end kind of work or what have you, or just want to talk or just interested in, how I did what I did, definitely contact me. Always open to helping or getting help. And, right now it's just, I'm doing all this stuff myself. And so there's a finite amount of time that, that I can spend on everything. And the more I maintain, the less I develop other things or that kind of work. So it's a balance.
Now putting the websites back on the screen, because Tess just asked at the site v.com, and Tess, you can see the sites on the screen right now. And if you get to vegevents.com or veggroups.com, you'll get to every site. So you totally have those. Hopefully she got it. What's the site again? That takes you to others. You can go to veggroups.com and you can get to everywhere.
And the bottom of all of them have a link to Veg Groups. So they kind of all, it's a network.
Each one will get you to exactly where you want to go, right? Because it's all Jason. Just like all the events I produce, everything, all the emails and everything come to me, even though they're different emails, they still come to my phone or come to my computer. So if you want to get in touch with Jason, you want to help, you want to donate, well, it's not really a donation, you want to give money so these resources exist, please go for it. Thank you, Tess, that she got it. And then Kat also said that she's willing to help you out if you're interested in pursuing a nonprofit. I made the same offer to him before we started. So Tess is all good with, she got everything on the screen, which is wonderful. And everyone else, well, Jason, thank you again for joining us. Is there anything else that you want to add?
I mean, thanks for having me. And I would just say, if there are people out there that have an idea, even if they're not a web developer, you could always find a web developer if you get a grant and things. Like, just think of what's missing, what hasn't been done or hasn't been done well, and find those people that can help you make that a reality. Because I think there's so much more that people can use to get help going vegan, staying vegan, helping animals, so many things that haven't been done well or aren't out there. And if you have some idea, there's nothing to say that you can't work on making that a reality.
Very true. WordPress and Wix are your friend. They're not, well, a simple site is not going to be difficult to set up. When you start getting into more complex things, then you can call Jason.
Yeah,
and you can
definitely.
pay him to help you. Because, if you're vegan and you want to start a vegan site and you need help anywhere in the world, by the way, not just the United States, Jason is available, and he is fantastic at what he does. Absolutely fantastic at what he does. So thanks, Kat. She said, great interview. That's really wonderful. And Tess also said, agreed. So that was very sweet. So thank you for watching. And then everyone, just a reminder, I miss you too, Tess. I do. So, and she says, thank you to you, Jason. And everyone, just a reminder, and please wear a mask. And I want to post something that Tess wrote a little earlier in regards to, because she's a nurse and people still complain about wearing a mask for an hour in a store that's air conditioned. Sheesh. That's right. The doctors and nurses and medical facilities are wearing their masks 7, 8, 10, 12-hour days, and sometimes not even with a new one, because they have to keep reusing their PPE equipment because there's not enough of it to go around for the amount that they would need to treat all the patients. And one of the ways that we can help them, and one of the ways that you can actually see us in person at events again, is if you wear a mask over your nose, under your chin, social distance, wash your hands, do the right thing so that it can save lives. So that next time we see you, we can actually see you and hug you in person, because that's something that I'd really, really like to do. That is something, I mean, I live with people, so I'm not missing the contact of people, but the hugs and stuff. But I want to be able to do that when I see my friends, especially when they're going through a hard time, which has happened recently. So I'd love to be able to do that too. Let me see. And then that's great work. Let's put the post up. Everybody to Plant-Based Network, Ronnie Tsunami, folks like Jason and Triangle Vegfest. Thank you so much. Yeah, we really appreciate Plant-Based Network, because we're all a part of it, and we want to see that grow. And thank you them again for being our sponsor this week, because they're a partner in this. This wouldn't be happening actually if it wasn't for me knowing Ronnie and Joanna. Virtual Vegfest wouldn't have come to life the way it has. They were an integral part of this growing into what it is. So once again, please wear a mask. And also, if you can not volunteer, you can actually sign up to be a poll worker, because when election day comes, we need enough people to work the polls. And the people who typically work the polls are the elderly, and it's not safe for them to go and work. So you can actually sign up to be a poll worker and make sure we have enough of them open, so there's enough. There are not a lot of lines, or the lines are not 7 hours long, especially in areas that are less privileged. So make sure that there's enough poll workers, and you can get paid to do it, and help make it so that the election day in the United States runs more smoothly than some of the primaries have run in certain states in this country. So everyone else, yep, test, wash your hands. Exactly. Wash your hands, wear a face mask, social distance, take care of yourselves. And on Saturday, I just went blank. Who's coming on Saturday? I know this. At 4 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Oh my goodness. Completely blank. Do you remember, Jason? It's on your flyer. Oh my goodness. Oops. Completely gone. So on Saturday, we're getting together again at 4 p.m. And sorry for whomever I'm bringing on. And I have no idea right now. That's what happens when you're live. So everyone else, have a great rest of your day. And Jason, I'm sure I'll be talking to you. And everyone, please stay safe and stay healthy.